أهلا وسهلا ومرحبا بكم في درس جديد. كيف حالكم؟ أرجو أن تكونوا بخير. Today's lesson is the beginning of a new series about pronouns, more precisely singular ones. And this day we will discover the most common type of pronouns, which is personal pronouns. So let's get started. And to begin with, what is a personal pronoun? Well, a personal pronoun is called ضمير. One more time. ضمير. And the plural form is ضمائر. ضمائر. So we do call it in Arabic ضمير. And it is a word, sometimes even one letter in Arabic, as we will see in the last lesson of this series, that is used instead of a noun or a noun phrase. And they refer to either a noun that has already been mentioned or to a noun that does not need to be named specifically. Let's not also forget to remind you that as far as the Arabic language is concerned, personal pronouns don't stand on their own as a separate part of speech. Instead, they are considered as definite nouns and they belong to the part of speech al-ismu. And you know what? Since we are talking about differences between Arabic and English, let's state all of them for the record and then move on. In fact, there are 4 major differences between English and Arabic in terms of personal pronouns. Number 1 has already been stated, which is the fact that they belong to the part of speech al-ismu and are classified as definite nouns. Number 2, Arabic personal pronouns could differ according to gender. We will see that in a couple of minutes. Number 3, Arabic personal pronouns have 2 different forms, attached and separate. We will be working with the separate form today. And last but not least, they do have a dual form, which will be pushed back to the right time. So, in a nutshell, personal pronouns in Arabic are more elaborated than their English analogues. Right. Out of the 4 major differences written right in front of you, we will be focusing today on the first 3 and save the last one to the right time. So now that we have settled that this lesson is all about the separate form of singular personal pronouns, let's start with some terminology, shall we? We do call the separate form of a personal pronoun الضمير المنفصل. Again, الضمير المنفصل, and the plural form is الضمائر المنفصلة. الضمائر المنفصلة. And these are subject to the same classification of personal pronouns in English, which means that we have the first person, the second person, and the third person. The first one refers to the person speaking, the second one refers to the person spoken to, and the last one refers to other person or thing. Let's start with the first person, please. The first person is known in Arabic as ضمير المتكلم. ضمير المتكلم. Again, ضمير المتكلم. And since we are studying the singular form, the only option we have today is I, and its Arabic equivalent is أنا. أنا. One more time. أنا. أنا is used whether the speaker is masculine or feminine, مذكر أو مؤنث. As to the examples, let's try to hit 2 birds with 1 stone and see how personal pronouns are used and how they can replace the subject in a nominal sentence. Please take a look at these 2 nominal sentences. آدم ذكي، سارة جميلة. آدم ذكي، سارة جميلة. We all agree that these 2 are nominal sentences, isn't it? The subject, i.e. المبتدأ, is a definite noun since proper nouns are, and it has the nominative case. The predicate, i.e. الخبر, is indefinite and it has the nominative case as well. Kindly note تنوين الضم. The subject and the predicate fail to agree in terms of definiteness. And last but not least, the combination of the subject and the predicate conveys a complete meaning, as a result of which we can confidently say that these are nominal sentences. Now, let's suppose that Adam is speaking and that he will be the one describing himself. He would say what? أنا ذكي. Good on you. One more time. أنا ذكي. And no need to tell you that the grammatical function of each component will remain as is. أنا will be our new مبتدأ and ذكي is the خبر. And I can hear you asking yourselves, where did the nominative case go? المبتدأ is supposed to end with ضمة. Well, I will gladly answer this question at the end of the lesson after analyzing all of today's examples. You will see why. Moving on to the second example, just like the first one, let's suppose that Sarah is describing herself. She would say, أنا جميلة. Well done. أنا جميلة. Couldn't be easier, isn't it? So أنا is used regardless of the gender of the person speaking. That's it for ضمير المتكلم. Next comes the second person. We do call it in Arabic ضمير المخاطب. Again, ضمير المخاطب. And here there is a gender distinction. If we are speaking to a male, we will use أنت. Again, أنت. However, if we are speaking to a female, we will use أنتِ. أنتِ. So أنت if we are talking to a male, and أنتِ if you are talking to a female. Now let's get back to our very first examples. آدم ذكي, سارة جميلة. But this time, let's imagine that I am talking to Adam and Sarah and complimenting the intelligence of the first and the beauty of the latter. What would I say to Adam? I would say, أنت ذكي. أنت ذكي. Remember, أنت for the male. And what would I say to Sarah? I would say, أنت جميلة. أنت جميلة. Brilliant. I think we can easily move on to the third person. We do call the third person in Arabic ضمير الغائب. Again, ضمير الغائب. And here we also have a gender distinction. If we are referring to a male, we will use هو. Again, هو. However, if we are referring to a female, we will use هي. One more time, هي. I think it's pretty easy since we also have a gender distinction in English for the third person, so everyone can relate to that. On to the examples. If Adam and Sarah are not by my side and I'm talking about them with a friend, I would say هو ذكي. I'm talking about Adam, obviously. As for Sarah, I would say هي جميلة. هي جميلة. One more time for both examples. هو ذكي. هي جميلة. هو ذكي. هي جميلة. So هو for the male and هي for the female. Right. So by and large, the personal pronouns we have learned today are أنا, أنت, أنتِ, هو, هي. Again, أنا, أنت, أنتِ, هو, هي. Now, let's gather all of today's examples and have a closer inspection. As you can see, even though أنا, أنت, أنتِ, هو, هي are acting as the subject of these nominal sentences, they didn't take the nominative case, and that's completely normal not only for these particular cases, but that will always be the case. No matter what the function of these personal pronouns is within the sentence, their case ending will not change. In other words, they will always remain as is. Do you know why? Or does this remind you of something mentioned in our previous lesson? That's it. البناء. You've guessed it. In fact, and I'm going to put this in simple terms, no worries. Personal pronouns are مبنية. الضمائر مبنية. الضمائر مبنية, which simply means that no matter what their position or function is within the sentence, they will always remain the same. Remember, as previously stated, البناء is a set of rules that governs the words that don't inflect no matter what their position is within the sentence. And personal pronouns are one of these, so things make perfect sense. And it's natural for you to ask here, how can we tell the function of these personal pronouns if they don't inflect? And the answer is, you'll be able to. Don't worry, it's only a matter of time and of mastering the basics, and we are working on that. And trust me, everything will fall into place in due course. Just believe you can, and you are halfway there. That brings us to the end of today's lesson. شكرا على حسن استماعكم ومع السلامة.